Everybody, it's Lori. I wanted to do a quick flip through here of a journal that I just finished up, and this one is for a swap that I am involved in. And the theme for the swap is to alter a book and make it a vintage garden theme. And this is what I came up with. I really liked actually the cover and the spine of the book, so I wanted to leave some of it exposed, but you know, typical to how I am, I had to end up covering everything up because I just, I have no control. I can't stop apparently. So what I ended up doing with the front and the back covers is I just collage-paged a bunch of different things on the cover. Like this is a little die cut here in the shape of a window, and some cutouts that I found on the internet, and some pieces of napkins, and then a little piece of canvas fabric here that I stamped on that says, "Do you suppose she's a wildflower?" which comes from the book Alice in Wonderland. And then I have an art cake piece here with a little bird bath charm hanging from it. And then on the spine here, I was going to do some dangly beads on the spine, but I don't know. I just didn't really like the way it ended up looking. And plus, if you wanted to lay it down, the beads would have gotten in the way. It wouldn't have wanted to lay nice. So I just ended up doing some ribbons, tying some ribbons here. And then on the back, I just did some more of the collage page with some more pieces of napkins and some cutouts. And then on the spine, I just did some lace. I did kind of finger paint it with some acrylic paints underneath the lace, but I wasn't real crazy about the way that looked, so I ended up putting some lace over the top of that. And then for the closure, I stole Cheryl's idea for the two eyelets, and then I took some seam binding and I tied them in a knot, and tied it in a knot, I should say, and did the same on the front, although you can't see underneath the piece here. So I've actually got two pieces of seam binding here for two bows. And I am actually filming this backwards from what I normally do, so we'll see if I can actually end up staying in frame here. I got tired of fighting with my camera, trying to dangle it over the top so I could, flip through it as if I was looking at the book. So we'll see how this turns out. I might end up having to redo the video. I wanted to keep the inside pages here because it was such a cool diagram. And this is a book I've never even heard of before, but I just thought this was really neat. It's got like a diagram of the property that the story's supposed to be taking place in. And this has got an ownership sticker here of the gal that owned the book. And her name was Mrs. Donald H. Peterson, and she lived in Loves Park, Illinois. So the book has a variety of stamping and some laces and fibers and stuff, and some tuck spots and tags and washi tape. So you know what it all is. I don't have to point it all out. And this is just a extra piece of paper here that I am using for a tag. Oh, and I ripped up one of the pages here and made a pocket out of it. Some of the pages I got of printouts from the internet, which most of them came from Pinterest actually. This here is actually a printout from Marion Smith, one of her digital journals. Variety of papers, some Recollections, some Prima, some Paper Studio from Hobby Lobby. Another scrap piece of paper here. Oops. I put a few tabs on some of the pages here. And what I used was, I have a Spellbinders set of just tabs. So I pulled out a few of those. Oh, and this actually, there's a ribbon and a piece of paper here, so, all right, it's not cooperating with me. They're both tuck spots, actually. And this envelope here is a printout that I got on Pinterest. And this is a boo-boo here, so whoever gets this journal is going to have to be somebody that does not expect perfection. Because I did the stamp here in like a blue ink. It's a birdhouse. And when I stamped it, I was like, well, what the heck's going on here? It's just a big blob. And then I realized I had the stamp upside down. So I did it again in black. And I was going to just cover it up and pretend like it never happened. But I thought, no, you know what? I'm going to leave it. Somebody will just have to understand. We'll pretend that I meant to do that. And I didn't just use vintage flower cutouts. I also did vintage, since the theme was vintage garden, well, that could mean vegetable garden too, right? So I also did some tags from old seed catalogs for vegetables. I thought she was so cute. Like this for vegetable gardeners. I don't like doing this backwards. And I was playing around with some of my embossing folders and Tim Holtz Distress ink, so I just did some really big journaling cards, I guess. And then this is an On the Edge die from Tim Holtz. It's really warm here this afternoon. It's been in the 90s, and we had a rainstorm come through this afternoon, which we really needed because we hadn't had any rain in about a month or so. But now I have no power, and I'm sitting here trying to do this video, and I'm sweating to death. And this is just a piece of seam binding that I stuck in here for like a bookmark with a little big bobble bead on the end of it. So, I don't know, this bead might clonk around too much for somebody, so if they don't like it, they can just snip it off. And this envelope here is a piece from one of the kits from Tsunami Rose. And I think I put a tag in there, yep. And then an altered paper clip here with another piece that I was messing around with an embossing folder. Kind of looks like a garden gate. And this page here is also from Tsunami Rose. It was actually a smaller piece. I think it might have been one of a journaling card, but I just blew it up and made it into one of the pages instead. She has beautiful kits. I think this might be one of hers too. I'm not sure. Another embossing folder. I have so many embossing folders and I hardly ever use them, so I figured, I'm going to pull them out and play around with them. Page from the book. And this little crocheted flower here came from Thrifty Lou. She sent me a pocket letter a while back and with a few of these in there. And a sweetie bag from Thrifty Lou. And this is just a piece of paper that I coffee dyed. Came from a little pad of paper that I got at the dollar store. A little envelope here. It's the trouble when you punch these pages out, or these corners out, they get really fragile. Another piece of paper here from a paper pad from the dollar store. Envelope here that I made, and I was going to put something in here and I think I forgot, so I will have to stick another little tag in there or something. And that is it. If you have any questions, let me know. I know I didn't explain each and every little thing, but that's pretty much because I figure y'all know it already. But if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks a lot for taking the time to watch.